Hello friends, and welcome back to my crafty space. My name is Crystal, and in today's video, I am going to be putting together a story project using the Paige Evans Wonders Collection along with 2 cut files. So the 2 cut files that I'm using today are this rainbow one first, which I sized down. It was originally made, I believe, as an 8.5 by 11, and I reduced the size down so that it would fit in a 6-inch wide space, which ended up making it really conducive to a 6 by 4 journaling card. So that's what I'm going to make with this one. And then the second cut file that I cut out is this one right here, which I still need to trim out some of these inside pieces. But this is the title Happiness. And I do also have some of the inside like the little inside part of the A and the 2 P's as well. So this, my plan is to back the title piece here and then add this on top of some plain white cardstock in order to create a title card to go along with my spread. So I'll have the title card, the rainbow, and then I'm also going to have this 6 by 4, not 6 by 4, this 6 by 8 photo along with it that I'll use some tags and some stamping and all that kind of stuff. And then I'm also going to make an additional journaling card, a 3 by 4, using this little scallop line here to create lines in order to add my journaling on top of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my cut files off screen and go ahead and get them backed. In case you have never backed a cut file before, basically all I'm going to do is take some liquid adhesive. I'm going to add a little bit of it on each individual piece here. So for instance, I might do a cloud first, and then I would glue that down on top of the pattern that I want to use, trim it out, and then added my adhesive to the next piece, and so on and so on. I have a whole bunch of videos where I'm working with cut files and I actually show the process there, but in order to save some time, I'm going to not do that today. I did also grab a small piece of this paper that has all of the butterflies on it that I'm going to fussy cut and potentially use as some embellishments today. And then for my happiness, I'm going to use this little swatch book, which has a whole bunch of different colors and patterns in order to create some kind of rainbowy background. So that's what I'm going to do off screen, and then I'll come back. I'll let you know which pieces I ended up using, and then we'll go from there to get the rest of this page assembled. All right, friends, I am back and I have both of my cut files officially fully backed. I'm holding them up here close. You can see how those turned out. And one of the things that I did make sure to save when I cut the rainbow with the clouds out of white cardstock, I did save the inside parts of both of those clouds, which I'm going to use on this spread a little bit later. So now that I have those both backed, let's get into actually assembling the page as a whole. The first thing that I did was to cut out a couple of these tag shapes that came in one of the 12 by 12 papers. I will make sure to have all of the papers linked up down below in my description. So if you're looking for any of the papers that I used in this project today, you'll be able to find that down there, because I don't remember off the top of my head what these different papers were actually called or what number they were. But there was one page that was a whole bunch of tags. I think there was maybe 8 of them total. And so I went ahead and I trimmed out 4 of them, and I'm actually going to use 2. I also went through one of my larger die cut packs, and there were a couple of tag shapes in there as well. So I pulled those aside to see if I maybe wanted to use one of those in addition to one of the large tags, or if I wanted to just use 2 of the large tags, or, you know, maybe add a third one with the small, just playing with different configurations, different shapes, and that sort of thing. Ultimately, I decided to go with this yellow one that's got a grid yellow pattern with the pink at the top. I want to stamp with the Wonders stamp from this collection, which, by the way, is really awesome. It's full of all kinds of little icons, and then it's got this title that says "Hello Lovely" that I just love. I love the font and the size of it. So I'm going to stamp that on top of the journal the tag there that you see that's got the yellow pattern on it. So I'm just kind of leaving it on there right now so I can see how much space that's going to take up. And then I also decided to use the craft colored card as the back or a layering element behind my title card. So then I've got an even larger set of die cuts that I'm going through. I pulled out this leafy piece that's got a blue tone to it that I actually really like because I used a dark blue to cut out my happiness title. So I wanted to pull in some more of that color throughout this spread. And then I'm also going to find a number of floral elements that have a lot of the same colors. So I've got the navy blue one to, again, pull in more of those blues, but then I've got a pink one and a purple one and a lighter tealish colored one as well that will help to bring in more of the colors from the rainbow cut file element that's going to be in a journal card next to where this photo is. Next, I'm grabbing out my Scrapbook.com premium black dye ink. This is my favorite black ink of all time. And I'm going to use that to stamp the title Hello Lovely at the very top of the tag because I am planning to only have a portion of this on the photo itself. The rest of it I'll trim off, and actually I'll find a way to use the rest of this particular tag later, but I wasn't intending on that when I was working through this. Then I also grabbed one of the smaller floral pieces as well off of the stamp set, and I'm going to stamp that in yellow and in pink. These inks are from Ali Edwards, so I have the Honeyman yellow and the Rose Garden pink. I stamped 3 of them on there, just kind of adhering to the rule of 3s and having it be in a visual triangle there. And then again, keeping it towards the top of the tag because only a portion of that is going to show. Next, I'm going to create my own journaling card. So there wasn't really one in any of the papers or the cut-aparts that I liked well enough to use as a journaling card. I wanted something that had pretty definitive lines for me to add my text to, which is just going to be handwritten. So what I decided to do was to grab this scallop line off of the stamp set, and I'm going to alternate those same colors from before, so the Honeyman yellow and the Rose Garden pink, down the card where I will be able to use that as a line to add my text to. So I'm just showing you that I'm alternating it here, and then we'll skip ahead to where I've got this card done and ready to go. When I take this card to the side, which you can see there on the left side of the page or of the screen, when I take that to the side, I'm going to use a Slick Writer pen or a journaling pen in order to add my text on there in black, just because it's one of my favorite pens to use. So now I'm going to work on assembling all of these cards together. I've got the rainbow on a 4x6 piece of textured white cardstock. You can see how I am planning to layer the white clouds on top of the blue clouds. I think that helps to give a little bit more dimension, and I just really like the way that that looks. Then for the tag spaces, I am just sort of adding my embellishments around there, trying to create some layers and some additional interest while pulling in more of the colors to the photo on the right. I'm loving the way that that's looking down there, so I'm just going to leave it there and then work on my rainbow card for a little bit here. I had fussy cut some of the really ornate, pretty butterflies from another one of the 12x12 papers, but I don't end up using them just because they feel a little bit too big, so the scale just doesn't seem right in comparison to the rainbow itself. So those I will put aside in with the rest of my die cuts to use at a later point in time. I then grabbed over my 6x12 cardstock stickers, and there was one that said enjoy the moment, and again it was on that navy blue color. I thought it would be nice to add that as a sentiment across the rainbow there so that I can also bring more of that blue into the 4x6 card, again giving this a visual triangle of those blues. So we have the blue in the outline around happiness. We have the blue in the florals and the leafy bits over on the right side with the photo. And then by adding in the enjoy the moment, we're going to have some more of that blue in the bottom left-hand corner as well. And it really helps to just make things feel a little bit more balanced. And, you know, that's ultimately for me what I'm trying to achieve as I'm working through embellishing this spread. So the other thing I grabbed was a sticker from the sticker booklet. And I don't remember exactly what this one says, but I did grab the one that's got a lighter blue type of color to help bring in some more of the light blue from the clouds. And then there's also some more of the light blue in the floral element to the right behind the lovely tag, as well as in some of the patterns from the happiness title. So we're just going to stick those together and then put them across the rainbow there. And I did go ahead and adhere down my rainbow using my roller dot adhesive, which is generally how I go ahead and put these cut files down. I like to back my cut files using liquid adhesive because I find it easier to fussy cut or to trim around the cut files themselves when they are so delicate. But for actually just adding them onto a page, roller adhesive works perfectly fine. I will fuss around here for a little bit with these two clear sticker butterflies. I like the scale of these ones better, but the thing that I'm struggling with is that there are only two, and it just feels not right. I keep trying to reposition them, thinking, maybe if I put them in the upper right-hand corner together, that'll look fine, or in the left corner together, that will look fine. And nothing I was doing was working. It all felt a little too forced. So I took those off and decided to nix the butterflies all together. So then we're going to work on my photo element here. To do this, I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive onto the smaller blue flower, tuck that behind and press it down onto the darker blue one. So this is just helping me to keep everything lined up where I want it to go. Then I'll add more adhesive to the back and then layer that behind the tag. So when I'm building my clusters like this, it really doesn't bother me if they are slightly different than when I laid them out. But for the most part, I like to work from bottom to, or from generally bottom to top, but also you have to kind of play around with that a little bit. So I added the pink flower on top of the leafy bit there, and then just pulled the whole thing up in order to add adhesive to the rest of the leaf. Now, before I go and adhere down the tags onto the photo, first I want to add a little bit of twine through the holes so that there's a little bit of a different texture on this page as well. That is another way to bring additional interest to your page, is to bring in more than one texture. So I've got lots of layered cardstock on here. I've got a little bit of gloss on the cardstock sticker and gloss in my photo. But then by adding in this case, like jute twine as my twine around my tags, it brings in a little bit of fiber texture to this page, and I think that looks really nice. I also love that it's the brown neutral or natural string, so that it doesn't detract from the photo, but it just, gives it a little bit more dimension and texture. I'm going to cut those fairly short so that they don't interfere too much with my photo. And then I did just adhere down both of those tags and trim off the bottom portions. And then my photo side will be, for the most part, done. So then I'm going to work on my title card, and at first I was just going to put it directly on top of the white, but then I had a large portion of that tag left, and I love the way that layers behind the happiness title. So I'm just going to add some more adhesive to it, stick it down on the white cardstock, which is just white textured cardstock, and then I will add my adhesive behind my title piece and add that on top of the 3x4 card. I think it gives it so much more interest to have the pattern and then even that little yellow flower there at the bottom than it did when it was on the stark white. And then it also brings in that same pattern from the photo to the upper right or upper left-hand corner. So you've got a diagonal line where that grid pattern is located. So that looks super awesome. The photo looks super awesome. Now I just need to work on my journaling card and then finishing up this rainbow card. So it just felt a little bit too stark here, especially because I decided not to put the butterflies on there. So I grabbed back over my stamp set one more time and my Honeyman ink one more time from Ali Edwards. And there were these 3 hearts in a row. So I just kind of rounded them on my stamp block and then created a line of hearts to go around the outside of the rainbow. And I think that that helps to fill in some of that white space. After taking my journaling card to the side and adding my text on there, the last thing I did with this spread was to add my date stamping. All right, friends, that completes my spread for today. I super love the way that this one came together, and it just goes to show that cut files can be so versatile. You can use them on the really big 12 by 12 spreads, but you can also shrink them down in order to use them to make your own journaling cards or your own embellishments for a smaller scale project as well. I hope that you have enjoyed seeing this spread come together, and if you did, I would love a thumbs up on this video down below. Also, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can see all of my future crafty content coming your way. And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye, friends.